Where we last left off, your characters had determined that in order to find the lowest layer of the abyss, the only real authorities on the matter would be the demon princes. And to get the demon princes' help, you decided that one of the more approachable ones would probably be Demogorgon, but only if you had some bit of arcane unknown lore that he does not yet possess. So, figuring, well, what's the most arcane unknown place we know of? Space. So you guys headed up, ended up on the moon of Mynth, alternately known as Antidor or Thebe. And there you heard about a upcoming race that's breaking from the tradition of the normal races, in which the prize is the answer from an enlightened, apparently all-knowing being known as Lady Solara. In service to completing this race, you scouted out a few potential guides and decided to take on two of them. First being Perry, a Loxodon anthropologist who is interested in studying the various races across the planets of Mynth space, along with Ralosa, a female human from North Kalagia, who, according to her, was caught by a slaving ship from the Grey Elves, but took part in a half mutiny, half slave revolt, because it was still on the ship, and managed to escape into sort of never sit.
Is Bobbin cutting out for anyone else?
He cut out a little bit.
No.
There.
Did he? No.
Anyway, I would just like to appreciate how the campaign has gone from we have been kidnapped by smugglers to fight Sahagin to, in order to gain arcane knowledge, you decided to go to the moon.
And this,
is that
as
what
it
you usually
turns
do?
out, is the first stop.
And isn't that what you usually do, though? Like, where else are you going to find what you need?
Yeah.
Anyway, you have heard that the Rolosa, being quite fond of the races, has explained to you that the next one will occur the official start will begin in 4 days. And it will take, and the starting point is there went Visk.
Oh no.
Goodbye, shitty computer.
Yeah. Oh, and there he's back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't happen that quickly, but I'm back.
Well, let's just hope the gaps aren't that long.
I'll switch computers. They won't be, because my computer restarts very quickly, but I mean, if it's too much, I might still just switch to a different computer, except that computer also has tons of problems, so, that's cool.
It wouldn't be any fun if they all worked.
It actually would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, it'd actually be very fun.
It would be very fun if they all worked.
Alright, so, as I was saying, according to Ralosa, who's been keeping track of these things, the next races will officially beginning in 4 days on the Imperial Elven station ship that is in an orbit that sort of keeps pace with the moon.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't have anything.
well,
Well, we can start planning a route, I guess.
yes, and you can get to know your new companions.
Can teach them the
True.
joys of liar's dice.
Well, Rolosa has already experienced Liar's Dice. It's actually quite popular out on the space lanes.
But out
Good.
here they call it Spacer's Dice.
Anyone who says that in Lily's presence will get slapped.
So I'm thinking maybe we just start from the inside and work our way out. We just immediately go to Waitor and Wrath, and then do flag, because we're gonna have to come back around this way anyway.
Oh, no, you won't need to do Mynth's flag. Those are actually presented to the racers at the start of each race.
Oh,
It's has to do with a few treaties, but basically they don't want the race interfering with all of the various civilizations down there.
okay. I still think we should work our way in.
Well, okay. I mean, based on the way the planets are aligned right now, I mean, the inner planets might move a bit more, but they're obviously more restricted in how far they go. So, but for the outer planets, like their current locations should be like approximately where they are for the entire duration of the race.
Yeah, it's gonna take us like a month.
So I don't know if it makes sense. I mean, we could, I guess, do the inner ones first. I feel like it actually makes sense to do Pelth first, then go into Paft, then Storl, then Kelthlow, then swing all the way in and do the 2 inner planets before coming back to Mynth, because we do have to come back to Mynth either way. Remember.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that we're spending. Oh, if we have to go back to Mynth.
Yeah.
Yep, the race ends where it begins.
Yeah, so you have to do the full circuit either way. It's just about minimizing the distance between the planets. Now, that's obviously assuming you go to each of the planets. Obviously, people can steal the flags from each other and shit like that. So, but I think what makes the most sense for us to do is just go to the planets. If people attack us, try to steal our flags, then we can potentially steal theirs in retaliation. I'm sure things will come up, but I don't think it makes sense for us to plan for that, because I don't think we know enough about space travel and stuff to reliably predict what other people will do and try to do stuff. I think it makes more sense to sort of just be reactive in that regard.
Well, about the bigger orbits, actually, Storal is really the biggest wild card for the whole race, since that is just the biggest asteroid in a whole ring of asteroids.
Oh, I see.
And they're very specific. The race operators are very specific about having one flag per person per orbit. So it's not always on Storal, although it often is.
I see. What about for the other planets, though? Is there some chance that it won't be near the planet? Like, if there's something... But, well, if they're planets, I guess they've cleared the neighborhood, so it would be with the planets or one of their moons, right? But it won't just be floating out in space in the orbit of the planet, will it?
Oh, no. That's... that's not really interesting for anybody.
Right, okay.
Plus, remember the event planners have to plant these things in the first place.
Right, okay. Wait, who actually does the planting?
Oh, it's the Mercane.
What are the Mercane?
You don't know about the Mercane? Oh,
The Mercane?
Mercane. They're
Mercane. Oh, okay.
Don't say
They're the-
okay like you know what that is.
well, when you come out here, you know what they are. They're the ones who create the Spelljammer helms.
Oh,
They're the only ones.
Those guys. Yeah, I totally know. I definitely.
They're the only ones who create the Spelljammer helms. They're the only ones who know how, and they're very protective of that secret.
I see. So, sorry, just to be clear, are these a race or an organization?
Oh, yes, yeah. They look sort of like humans, but they're really tall and they're blue, and they have 6 fingers, and each of their fingers has 4 knuckles instead of 3.
Okay. That is an unusually large number of knuckles.
I've literally seen weirder.
So it's like that one guy from Babylon 5. All right. Well, now, I guess if they're very secretive, they're probably beyond reproach. So we don't need to worry about other candidates having, gotten a leg up by finding out.
Yeah, that's why they put the Mercane in charge of running the race, is because there's no other party you could trust to be more neutral. They aren't even interested in getting answers for the questions. They just want the money. And so the Imperial Elven Navy pays them very well to adjudicate the race.
Okay. Well, that's good then. We don't have to worry about that front.
So everybody else is going to be just.
All right. So Storal is the wild card then. That's interesting. I feel like that kind of reinforces the route that I was thinking, though, in the sense that we probably want a route that takes us across as much of the orbit of Storal as possible, so that we have the easiest time if we're able to figure out where one of the flags is. But I mean, that does make me wonder if we should go try to check out Storal's orbit first to have a better chance at getting a flag there. Tough to say. Also, I forget, sorry, last time when I was brainstorming how we could keep the flag safe, was that with just Bobbin, or were other people there for that?
I think it was just Bobbin, because I don't.
Pretty sure it's just Bobbin.
Okay, because okay,
extra time with that.
Right. Okay. Because I did. Well, I mean, Bobbin had some suggestions. I forget exactly how it came up, but the idea that I eventually hit upon was storing the flags with what's his name? God. Olgaroth. Yeah. Because he has a teleportation circle that we can access. He's very deep underground. So it would potentially block scrying, and even if they could scry, they would have no idea where it was. And that way we wouldn't have to carry them in person. Bobbin also said that just keeping them in Vienna, even that wouldn't be safe because they could potentially get stolen from there. So
yeah, Olgaroth
whereas
probably knows ways to block scrying.
Well, just being underground can be enough to block scrying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're far enough underground.
Well, it can block some divination spells, but not scrying specifically.
Oh, okay.
Do we still have the cage?
No, we don't. We ruined that to take down the island. City. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Which is too bad. That would also have been useful. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go back and get a new one.
I'm sure Olgaroth has a lead-lined box set. Fine.
I don't think that stops all divination, though.
I think it stops scrying.
Sure. We don't need Olgaroth to have the lead line box. I can remember, because Aurelia has teleport, we can teleport once a day very easily.
Yeah, but I would. But I do like the idea of keeping them with Olgaroth because it's that much safer.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm saying that we don't need him to have a lead line box because we can just go back to Viana and get one.
True.
We'll have time. So I think we have so if we put it in a lead line box deep underground with someone that like basically no one knows our connection to, I feel like that will be fairly safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can be our plan for storing them while the race is happening. But yeah, finding them. So how does it work again? Because we can scribe, but we don't actually. We don't have any divination that like. I mean, these things are enchanted or whatever to be like highly scribable, right? That was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every scrying attempt made to suss them out will automatically succeed, even though they are technically an object, and scrying should not apply to that.
Some bullshit enchantment that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Made by a race that is known for having access to spells no one else does.
Mm-hmm. All right, but that will still not, like, in terms of figuring out exactly where something is in space,
locate object is also beefed up when applied to finding the flags. Like, its radius becomes far more than just 1,000 feet.
Or like 1,000 miles?
Yes.
Okay.
You sense the direction. Okay, so locate object tells us the direction.
Yeah. And scrying basically just shows right where.
Here's a question. If we're scrying for one of them, because, there are multiple for each location, I assume we can scry for ones for different locations easily enough. But, like, if we're scrying for one of the ones around Storall, for instance, would it pick one at random, or would it, like, how would that work?
Oh, I've heard about this. It's actually kind of elegant how it works. When you first use scrying, you imagine the kind of flag you're looking for, and the flags are a little bit different for each orbit. And the first time you do it, it picks one at random, and then after that, you can think of the first flag that you thought of, and you'll keep getting that one. Or you can imagine a second flag, or just a different flag, and it'll find a different flag for you.
Okay.
So, I basically keep trying an unlimited amount. So, in between trips, I can just try all the flags that this work. And I can keep using scrying to make sure that to figure out which ones have been taken. And from there, once we get close enough, object, try and find it. I don't think I have locate object.
I think Grunesh can
cleric
cast
spell.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. All right.
It's almost like Bobbin planned this stuff around our abilities. That way we would have an easy, fair time doing this.
I can shoot gun.
At this point, I don't really have to.
True.
Mm-hmm.
We are high
At
enough
this
level
point,
that
I
we
can
just
assume.
Bullshit our way through anything.
Yeah, and the great thing is that'll be even more true next level.
I shoot gun good. I shoot gun.
Like, you're going to come in handy once you actually get close to one of the flags.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. So, what else? Is there anything else we need to do to prepare? I mean, I'd still like to. I mean, does Relos have any other advice about planning our route or anything like that, or things we should be aware of?
Well, I'm not really one for just planning ahead of time like that. I tend to go where the winds carry me.
Mm-hmm.
Solar winds, regular winds. But
you know what winners of the race have done in the past.
oh, sure. But mostly it's they won because they picked off the others. So my advice would not necessarily to be to concentrate on the right path, because I guess it would help. But the big thing would be to watch out for the other racers.
Right.
Because well, you're all going to be meeting in person, so even if you keep the flags themselves safe, they will be able to keep track of you. You'll be able to keep track of them.
Right. Huh. This really is wacky races.
Yeah.
All right.
Except that Dastardly doesn't have to cheat because there's no rules against any of the crappy polls.
Fair point. All right.
I think both the root and knowledge that we have how
Yeah, that's fair.
go to Viana, buy a lead-lined box, go to Olgaroth, and be like, hey, can you babysit things for us for about a month?
Yeah, I'll do that in the time we have, and along with anybody else who wants to come, I guess.
I'll come.
I mean, we'll also, I'm sure. Actually, we don't really need to do that now because I'm sure we'll have time to do that in transit because it takes days to get to different places. So,
yeah, true.
But why wait?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, so we can do that while we wait. Okay.
Oh, I suppose there is one thing here. I mean, it's right there. Once you go to Pelth on your way to Kethlo, you can check a whole bunch of asteroids along the way.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was part of my reasoning.
Huh. Well, I guess you didn't need me to think of it then.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you confirmed that it was a good idea, to be fair.
Well, it's also kind of an obvious idea. I think at least 1-2 of the other racers are probably going to take it too.
Fair enough. Yeah, the question is Paft. Do we want to stop at Paft along the way, or I mean, we could also potentially do Paft afterwards, depending.
Aft is probably easier to do on the way, but at the same time, somebody who's also taking our route is probably going to think. So I'm in favor of getting Paft on the way back, going straight for Storl.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, I suppose. We know of 3 competitors, right? That we know of?
I remember the Lich.
I remember the Lich, I remember the Elves, I remember our friends.
The Gallant Gladiators. And also the Purple Riser. A group of a group of pirates who came from outside of the Crystal Sphere and just happened to be in system in time for the race and decided to participate.
All right. Well, we are going to get the chance to meet them all, so maybe we should skip ahead to that then if we're done with planning.
All right. Would you be doing the meetup with Olgaroth now or later?
Let's do it now, I suppose, since we've got time.
All right. Well, you find to your relief that the Olgaroth's teleportation circle still uses the same characters that you remember, because he has swapped them out before. And not long after you arrive, you hear Olgaroth bustling around in the next room before coming in, wand in hand, before lowering it and saying, "Ah, friends!
Hey, Elgaroth!
What brings you down into the shit?
Well,
How goes the surface? Have they cleaned all that shit up yet?"
Mostly.
Mostly. We actually haven't been on the surface the last few days. We've been in outer space.
No fucking shit.
Yeah. It's true. We actually came here. I mean, I feel kind of bad. I hate to just drop in and ask for a favor. Obviously, we would be happy to, do something for you in return if you'd like. But we could really use your help with something.
It's fine. Things have been getting quiet around here lately. The oozes have not been so active. Not sure why, but I'm not complaining. And the little worms, they dig around still. Still got to watch your ass for them.
Well, I mean, if you need any help with them, let us know. I think we would have more luck with them this time than previously.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys have better things to do these days than run around a bunch of old caverns and kill a bunch of ooze.
I mean, sometimes. Anyway, the favor we wanted to ask really wouldn't be that exciting or involve that much work for you, really. We, long story short, we are participating in a sort of outer space race that involves collecting flags, and sometimes people try to steal the flags from each other during the race. Basically, I was just hoping we could store the flags with you because, it'd be pretty hard for them to find. I'd just, teleport in with a flag every, couple weeks or something or so.
I suppose so. Not many scrying spells can dig this deep.
Yeah, we've also got this fancy lead-lined box.
Just in case.
To store them in, just in case. And so basically, we just need you to watch over them. I mean, I suppose if someone did somehow get in here, we wouldn't ask you to risk your life or anything for them. You just have to let us know that it happened. But I doubt that'll happen.
You know what? It sounds like it could be interesting. And it is my favorite kind of interesting, where I can sit around, drink ale all day, and occasionally zap assholes who try to bother me.
Okay, well, I mean, hopefully it won't come to that, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Living the dream, my friend.
It's not a dream, it's a break. But I appreciate breaks. Sure, I do this for you. And if I have a question, and if I have something I need you guys to do for me in the future, I will make sure you know about it.
Absolutely.
Sounds fair.
I mean, frankly, I kind of feel like we still owe you one.
What, for the whole end of the world thing? That was self-preservation. That's fine.
Fair point, but still.
I mean, he had a vested interest in making sure the world didn't end.
Well, I mean, so did a lot of people. They didn't
Yeah.
all come with us to the fucking depths of the Shadow Dark or whatever.
Most of them did.
Most of them did. The only
Yeah.
reason
Well, not most of the world.
the only reason one of them didn't was because he literally died and had to come back to life.
Yeah, but he came back to life.
Yeah.
And it's a shadow fell. Just
Oh, whatever. What's the Shadow Dark? I feel like that's a thing somewhere.
Underdark, shadow fell.
Shadow Bobato.
Different kinds of deep, depressing darkness.
Okay, to be fair, apparently there is a place called the Shadow Dark in the Forgotten Realms. So
Yeah, no, I'd believe it. They're not
Yeah.
good with names.
Yeah.
the Shadow Dark was an underground domain of the Underdark situated in the deep wastes just below Shadowdale. So yeah, where Shadowdale and the Underdark meet, you find the Shadow Dark, obviously.
I
Fair
hate
enough.
Forgotten Realms so much.
Just chilling out in the Shadowdale with my buddies, solving murders.
All right. Okay. So that problem is solved. I guess we can leave the box. Well, actually, we can keep the box with us for now, and just bring it back when we get the first flag. Not much point leaving it here now.
Well, whatever you say. It's your box. And I should say that it's the box would have to be like long and narrow and tall. It is shaped to hold flags, and Relosa was kind enough to give you rough dimensions that the box would be able to handle to put the flags in them.
Okay. Well, maybe we should just leave it with him then. I don't know. It shouldn't matter either way. So this is probably not something we spend a lot of time on.
Yeah.
It's a means to an end. It's fine.
I will say that the thing for
What?
the meetup happens.
Cut out a
You got real
lot.
robot-y for a hot
Sorry,
second.
something happened before the meetup.
Well, that was weird. Yeah, I did have one other thing that will happen before the meetup,
Oh yeah.
which is simply that Silky will take Aurelia aside one night while you're still staying on the moon waiting for the race to begin, and that just sort of admire the earthscape above you and say, "You take me to the wildest of places, you know?"
I know.
And just to think, this is only the beginning. And already I
Yeah.
think I have seen something that none of my kin, none of my ancestors, maybe not even the snake gods have seen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you know what all those giant crystals are from?
Giant crystals.
On the image?
Oh, do I?
No.
No.
I rolled
Do
it.
you?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just the two of them.
Just the two of us.
And you don't
No.
need to roll perception to see the giant crystals sticking out of the landscape.
No. I was rolling perception to see if I see the mother tree.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
You don't need to roll perception for that either.
Okay.
It is that big.
Damn.
Like a giant wart on the earth. Yes. I don't know where the crystals are from exactly. They are quite impressive though.
And I think that is what I like about them most. No one has even come up with any fake stories to explain why there are giant crystals on the moon, because nobody has been up on the moon to try and explain them. Everything is just so completely unknown out here. Do you think there are dragons in space?
I don't know. Probably.
I have heard from the others that there are whales in space.
Well, I mean, dragons are the natural predators of whales.
No, there aren't.
Really?
No.
Oh, what are the natural predators of whales?
Sharks, but mostly nothing.
Oh. Are you sure? I feel like a dragon could take a whale, and it would be like a pretty good meal.
Yes, but they don't live in the same areas.
Oh, I suppose. Can dragons breathe underwater?
Some of them can, but the ones that do tend to stick to the rivers and lakes.
But they're
The
used to
rivers and the lakes that they're used to.
God
They
damn
don't
it.
go chasing waterfalls.
How dare you? How dare you think of the same thing?
They prefer the fresh water.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I hope I didn't ruin the moment there. But I don't know. There are probably space dragons out there somewhere. I mean, I don't know. From talking to other people, it's pretty big. I mean, it's not just the Mynth space. There's all kinds of space beyond it, and I mean, who knows what's out there?
And some crazy glowing gas that is all colors at once, and that is in the space between spaces.
It's kind of scary, actually, but exciting at the same time.
It's only scary if you don't want to know what is beyond it. And me, I can't wait to find out. I think that is why I became a ranger. Give me an excuse to get out of the boring old cities.
Well, the cities aren't all bad.
No. Some of them have very good company.
Aww.
Aww.
And fade to black.
Okay, well, I know where we're going for our honeymoon. A real honeymoon, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Deleted.
Boo.
So, the days pass, and eventually you follow Rolosa's directions, and it's not that hard to find. I mean, it is just like a man-made body in the infinite darkness of space. But it's also in a fairly obvious point that is about midway between the moon and Mynth. And while it is easily dwarfed by the two stellar bodies, it is, compared to your ship, quite huge. And as Rolosa explains, this is one of the Imperial Elven Navy's Arsenal class vessels. Each one is uniquely grown and shaped, so no two of them ever look identical. And this one was shaped in order to be a port station, someplace that could move slowly, but mostly serve as a waypoint between two places. occasionally it has to dip down into the atmosphere in order to catch some fresh air and replenish the good air on the station. But aside from that, it mostly stands watch here. And as you get closer, you see that it is this gigantic double-headed flower, if you will. Like, it looks like sort of a lily on a pad, but if the lily was both above and below the surface. And along the sort of pad's edge are a bunch of docking stations, several of which are currently occupied. And as you get closer, you're able to see the other vessels that are docked on the station, which Rolosa explains is called Hilda O. Imerapata.
Sounds stupid.
Okay, I'm probably not going to remember that, but
It sounds real stupid.
Hilda O. Okay.
And
Just gonna call it Hilda for short.
it does mean something in Elven. It's rather pretentious.
Like everything, Elvin.
You do it.
But the vessels that you see docked along the station include a dragonfly ship, which you can tell which one it is because it looks kind of like a dragonfly, complete with long legs for landing and wings that spread, or sails that spread up and away like the wings of a dragonfly. The Purple Riser pirate ship appears to be a fairly traditional looking ship that just so happens to fly through space.
My favorite ones because it's just like, yeah, whatever. It's just a fucking ship. Get off our back.
Yeah. You're told that it is called a tradesman class. And then, of course, there's a couple of man of wars, one of which is probably the one that the elves are entering into the race. But then Rolosa gets excited and points to the last vessel along the ring and says, oh, it looks like the Skrull made it after all. Oh, they must have just barely scraped in before the deadline. And she is pointing to another ship that mostly looks like a normal ship, aside from the wide panels towards the front that make it look like a hammerhead shark.
Cool. So we're going to have to deal with those guys.
Yep.
I've heard that they're assholes.
Well, you hear that about a lot of people out in space.
Is that
It's true,
because space is full of assholes?
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes.
Enemies everywhere.
I haven't seen that in fucking ages.
But yeah, I mean, ever since the Second Unhuman War ended, the Skrull have always sent a few ships in when the race was on. Sometimes to participate, or sometimes when they'd won, just to make sure that the elves didn't win that year.
That's the thing that I can get behind, actually.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Well, the elves aren't all bad. I mean, when they aren't kidnapping powerful, enlightened ladies, of course.
I've never met an elf I liked.
Aurelia turns and looks at Lily.
You're not even a real elf.
You constantly say that you're better than an elf. Why are you getting so offended now?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Aurelia, whether or not Aurelia considers herself an elf depends on the circumstances. But when she thinks she might be being insulted, she's always concerned.
You're not even a real elf.
Okay, well, coming from you, I will take that as a compliment.
Lorem is a full elf.
Lorem's not here. Lily won't feel bad if Lorem's not here to look like a puppy that just got kicked.
All right, just making sure you were aware.
Lorem can't hear, it's fine.
Somewhere he feels like he should be sad. He doesn't know why.
That actually kind of happens fairly often for him.
Oh no! Next time, after this adventure is done, the first thing Lake is gonna do is gonna go up to Lorem and be like, "Hey, Lorem, you're my friend."
Can't believe you're lying to Lorem.
I'm not.
Lily feels actions speak louder than words. Look, all I'm saying is every time I've had to deal with some sort of elven government, it's been nothing but fucking miserable. Which is why we killed a bunch of them.
Alright, well, anyway, right now, all that matters is the elves who are against us in that race are enemies, but so are the Skrull. We need to worry about both of them. And about the Lich, and about everyone else.
Well, that's the other thing, actually. You know that the Lich is participating, but you don't see a ship that's particularly undead that's docked up on the space station. But
I mean, that kind of feels like racial profiling, Bobbin. The ship doesn't have to look undead for an undead person to drive it. Oh, okay.
But then Lake sees in the darkness of space, just to the right of the station, a gigantic stone pyramid.
Oh, hey, I think we found the Lich.
Well, you know what? Now I feel bad for defending him against racial profiling.
We just hear fucking Dragula blasting in the reaches of space.
The stone pyramid is clearly too large to have docked on the station, and it appears that the owner did not bother to send a smaller craft in order to
participate.
Well, in order to get his himself or his people onto the station, which makes you wonder if he's there or how he got there if he is.
All right. Now, remind me, are there any rules about what you can do to competitors and stuff? Are you not allowed to kill them, or are you allowed to just kill them?
Well, I figure the Mercane will probably go over the rules.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Soon.
Okay, let's wait for that.
It has happened.
Do we are friends in their giant armada?
Well, I think the rumor was that they had an armada, but they weren't going to be entering using it.
Yes,
but we might see them inside.
The Dragonfly is likely theirs, but the armada that they took over is not visible anywhere.
All right, let's head inside. I wanna meet the Mercane.
Yes,
Say hi to our friend.
You dock your lamprey on one of the docking arms, and you see a fair number of elves come over and start strapping your vessel to the ship, to the arsenal station, and one of them politely comes aboard, gives you a nod, and says, "I imagine you're here for the race."
Correct.
Yes.
Got it in one.
Right. Well, no strangers coming around here for any other reason. The main The starting feast will be held within the big greeting hall at the center of the vessel.
Okay.
And if you follow me, you and whatever members of your crew you want to bring along can come and take part. Don't worry, we have plenty of food for all.
Very well. I assume we will all be attending.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
All the named characters can come along, certainly.
Okay.
And all the unnamed characters as well, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve food too.
No, you don't have a name. You have to stay on the ship.
No. Right. And don't worry about sitting yourself in the watches over your vessel. We'll do that for you. And nothing will be done to your ship until the race officially starts.
And then things will be done to our ship. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
I imagine that the Lich is just going to start blasting people as soon as the eggs are however it is.
I don't know about that, but maybe. Let's just head in though.
Mm-hmm. The interior of the vessel is immaculately designed with motifs of leaves and vines and a variety of the flowery, prettier plants that survive in wetlands. So the idea of the station being shaped like a lily extends to the interior decoration.
Well, elves are nothing if not committed to establishing an aesthetic, so.
Mm-hmm. And you have really no complaints about the appearance. It's elves tend to spend a lot of time perfecting their arts, and you have to say that as an arsenal, as one of the greatest vessels ever crafted by the Imperial Elven Navy, they've certainly gone all out for making this a fine ship / space station. The central hall that you're directed to turns out to be within the heart of the flower, and so you can see directly above you as a skylight the stars and the shimmering light of, obviously it's not the Milky Way, but basically what you're seeing right in front of you is visible throughout between the petals of the flower above you. And around you, you see a series of long tables. One is actively being pulled out of storage and set alongside the rest now that your crew has arrived. Places are being quickly set up for the number of people on board your ship. Aside from one, because one more place is being set on a table set prominently above and perpendicular to the rest. And what you can only imagine are the captains of each ship are seated at the table, some already eating, others unable to eat.
Because they're liches?
And at the very center of that table, you see a person of the description that Relosa gave to you. Tall, blue, large, lengthy hands.
Yeah.
It appears to be a he. He is dressed in a long, flowing, heavily embroidered robe that glints in the light, which means you imagine it uses cloth of gold and various precious gems stitched into the embroidery.
Cool.
That is you have been to some grand places, and this is easily the most expensive robe you have ever laid your eyes on.
Wow. That's a nice robe.
Oh, even more expensive than my fucking robes. My goddamn legendary artifact.
Yeah. Well,
Damn.
it doesn't quite have that appearance, but even so, it may also be magical.
It's probably magical. It's definitely magical.
It's 95% likely magic.
Regardless, it's impressive.
Yes,
I want it.
and he appears to be eating quietly, and has a very cultured, neutral expression on his face that takes in everything around him without giving anything away. Aside from that, the other captains along the captain's table are fairly obvious which one is which. One of them is an elf in the uniform of the Imperial Elven Navy, with the captain's insignia prominent on the shirt. One of them is a full-blooded orc who is in a similarly well-put-together uniform, distinct in its cut, and the insignia is different as well, but it also looks to be just as tailored, just as fine and expensive as what the elf is wearing. Then you also see Molana.
Now, which one was she again?
Molana,
The barbarian.
Angura's daughter, the human barbarian. She strikes quite the figure in a fine Mynthian outfit. Looks like she's still keeping her barbarian roots by wearing a fur-lined jacket. But aside from that, she looks like she's sort of fitting in here. Doesn't look too out of place compared to the other captains.
Weird.
And
This feels wrong.
you can spot on the long tables the rest of the party.
Sorry, was that a sneeze and then disappearing? Okay.
No, that was
Yeah, which one is Milana again? Or
The barbarian.
Barbarian, right? Okay.
Human barbarian. Cutting quite the figure in her captain's outfits. And the rest of her party, you can see is on one end of one of the long tables. And they seem to be chatting to each other, but you can't make out what they're saying from where you are. And then there's a figure that stands out a bit more. She has a similar sort of captain's uniform, although with the specific insignia just sort of cut off. And the cut seems to be patched together from a few different outfits. But at the same time, she has a jaunty cape that she's tossed over the back of her chair, and a strange wind seems to be blowing through her hair.
My God, a woman after my own heart.
This is ridiculous.
She also has bright red skin and a pair of horns.
Wow.
Okay.
Too bad I'm already engaged. All right.
okay. Any other captains up there?
The last one is the one that definitely doesn't fit in with the rest. I mean, his outfit is certainly expensive enough, but it looks to be from a few centuries ago, for those of you who study history. Also, there's very little of his face aside from the skull and a few patches of skin that are stubbornly clinging to it, long since blackened and dried out. And then, of course, instead of eyes, there are two bright red dots in the center of his eye sockets, glowing and observing the world around him with a sort of eerie menace to it.
So I'm just gonna guess maybe that's the Lich.
No, I gave that away.
A plate has been set out for him, for propriety's sake, if nothing else. But nothing has been placed on it, and none of the tableware have moved. And while there is one other long table set out in front of him, it's empty.
Oh, shit, he's not either his crew doesn't need to eat, or he's not allowing his crew. I don't know which is meaner.
Or he doesn't have a crew.
That would terrify me.
Why?
Because that means... Do you have any idea how much of a crew you need to pilot a fucking pyramid?
Well, I don't know. It depends how it fucking works. I mean, it's magic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could probably get by on inertia. Also, I mean, really, it's probably just got a lot of undead. It's fine. It's not fine, and I want them all dead, but...
That would be my guess, but
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm not going to pretend to know how.
I don't much care for his existence, personally, but I wouldn't say that to
Yeah.
his face.
Yeah, same.
Sure. All right. So those are the only 5, then?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3...
Undead are fucking gross.
Yep.
Except for Harvey, but that's because Harvey's clean.
Harvey
All right.
uses
there
illusions to make himself look...
5 captains, 1 mercane, and an additional spot has now been set for
Blake
your captain.
goes up there.
No.
Yes?
No, it's Aurelia. Aurelia's the
No,
fucking captain.
Come on.
No.
We know
I'm-
who's the captain.
Just
Even Lily knows that it's Aurelia. Come on.
Lily. Yeah, no, it's Aurelia signs our paychecks. Like,
Look, I
you're
know
not
that
the one paying us.
on the ship, we, look, Aurelia respects the fact that on the ship we all make decisions together. No one is in charge of anyone else. But for the sake of propriety, for the sake of appearances, Aurelia would not accept not being the captain. Come on, she's
Look. Like, do you really want to rub shoulders with those people?
At least 2 of them seem cool.
You can talk to them later, though. Look, you're
Well,
not
point,
that
you
good.
You can talk with the other crews.
Yeah, exactly. We can talk with the other
Mhm.
crews.
yeah. Lake is a person of the people.
Yeah.
Surely, Aurelia is the one
Aurelia is
who
the
can
one to
hobnob
deal
with
with.
the people
look,
on
like-
top. Do you want to talk to some snobby elven captain? No, of course you don't.
Look. Aurelia is all about that pomp and circumstance. It's fine. It's
If
fine.
it makes you feel better, I will buy you a fancy captain's hat. Okay.
Think about it this way: you won't need to sit next to the Lich.
This is true. Have fun, Aurelia.
All right, Aurelia takes the spot.
Aurelia at least has magical wind blowing constantly, so she doesn't need to smell that
Exactly.
undead stench.
Exactly. She's gonna raise an eyebrow at the demon lady or whatever. I don't know. Is she a tiefling? I'm guessing she's a tiefling, but she could be something else. I don't know.
Just beat the straight up fucking demon. Who knows?
You've never met a tiefling, but from
we have?
what you understand... Oh yeah, you have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually saw quite a few
We
tieflings
met
when you're
several tieflings.
especially when you're in a planescape setting.
Yeah. There's a lot of them for some weird reason.
So yeah, she looks like a fairly standard version of a tiefling.
Okay.
And
I will shoot her an expression, that indicates mutual admiration for inexplicable wind blowing powers.
yeah, she leans over the table to get a good look at you, raises her glass, and winks.
I wink back.
Come to find out, all she has is a cape of billowing.
No, Bobbin said it was in her hair.
Oh shit, it's the hair. Fuck.
Yes, hair.
Which is cool.
billowing.
I might need to see if
Look, I'm just saying the cape of billowing is one of my favorite magical items.
It is. It's
The
really
cape
good.
of billowing would be able to make basically the winds apparently sweep across your whole body, not necessarily just the cape itself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fair enough then. All right. Well, Aurelia will take her
Like-
seat. Who is she next to?
Well, let's see. You were the last to arrive, so you would get a seat at the end, which means you're
Excellent.
definitely not next to the Mercane, but you've got 5 other options. So let's roll for it. I've got the list here in a certain order.
All right.
1, 2. You're next to the Orc,
All right.
who, despite the reputation of his race, is demonstrating immaculate table manners.
Orcs are lovely people.
That's good. I mean, Aurelia. I feel like Aurelia doesn't have that much experience with orcs. I mean,
think-
not counting like Grunash, but he's only half
I
orc.
think we had like one adventure super early on involving pureblood orcs, and it's like one pureblood orc group was fighting against another one that was like asshole. Helped out one.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did, didn't we? God,
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
It was a long time ago.
There were a couple of Orc tribes, one of which was raiding into the Empire, and you were at that time working undercover for the Adventurers Guild,
Right.
which
Right.
wanted you to make sure that stopped through one means or another. You decided to make sure that there would be more room for them to raid within the Untamed Lands so that they would stop raiding north into Okar, and so that brought you into a conflict between 2 Orc groups.
Right.
All right. Well, Aurelia will try to make polite conversation with the orc captain if he's amenable to it, which I suppose he might not be.
Well, he greets you in Elvish.
How civilized.
Well, it's our policy as the Scrow to always understand the words of your enemies. Don't want to be deaf and dumb when surrounded by captives, you know.
A good policy.
Indeed. We have quite a few good policies. And where might I ask, are you from?
Sorry, I suddenly flashed back to your comment about how Aurelia introduces herself and exactly where she's from every time she meets someone, and why that might not be a good policy all of the time. But she's still going to do it because that's just her personality. Aurelia de Zafrani de Viana, Prince of Viana. It's a city-state on Mynth.
Ah, the planet. So you're local.
Yes.
Have much truck with the Imperials?
I've encountered them on a few occasions with mixed results, one might say.
Mixed results. I should say that my people's relationship with the elves is mixed, to say the least. Yes, 2 great wars that span the known spheres. Quite mixed indeed.
Well, I suppose it's nice that we can all participate in a friendly competition such as this one. Aurelia sort of laughs because, of course, it's not entirely friendly. But,
Yes, keep thinking like that. I'll be curious how far you go.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I know that certainly your people have a lot of experience with this race, but I am curious. Have you personally participated before?
Me? No. No, my ship is much too small normally to participate in these races. But I was the closest one when the announcement came out. I made it here on time. Thank the God for that. And so, I'll be running with a bit less assistance than we're normally used to for these races, but me, I like a good challenge. If I do well enough at this race, I might just rate myself a bigger ship.
Oh, well, I suppose that's something we have in common then.
Oh? Thought you said you were the prince of your nation.
Oh, yes, I meant liking a challenge.
Ah. Well, you're in for one this time, that's for certain.
Oh, I have no doubt. All right. Did he give his name?
He did not.
Okay.
So, if you point it out, it goes, how rude of me. Captain Rost Gornacht. The scout hammer ship Ekenglis.
I'll have to remember that name then. I suppose I should introduce my ship as well.
It means venomous in the Elven tongue.
Oh.
And
mine is the Saffron Lady.
Actual venomous. And when he says it means venomous in the Elven tongue, he's translating into Elven from Orcish.
Yes, Aurelia will name her ship as well. It's a good name. All right. Well, I don't think I have anything specific I want to say. I mean, this guy seems far too canny to give up any good tips or anything.
No, most likely not.
So I'll probably leave it at that unless he has more to say.
Well, not too much more than that. He gives you a few digs that you can tell quite easily are meant to demoralize you. Just talking about, how great and big the sphere is, and how it's not for newcomers, that's for sure. Don't know the last time a newcomer ever won this race. But hey, maybe you'll get lucky. Good for you.
Well, I mean, Aurelia might point out that he's also a newcomer by his own admission.
To space? No, not to space.
Oh, well, to the race.
Race is something I've had my sights on for some time. Actually quite happy that I was able to finally get my shot. I have been in the interference fleet for this race before.
Yes, well, will you be all right without quite so much help as normal this time then?
Oh, I'm sure we'll manage.
All right. Aurelia will definitely put on a show of not being demoralized at all, because she's not. Because
She's
if Aurelia
through some complete nonsense before.
Yes, but also just because that's kind of her personality. Like,
yeah,
Aurelia has never not believed in herself.
And
she suffers from a surplus of confidence.
A big goth ball of ego.
She's not a goth.
She's goth now.
She wasn't goth.
She is now, though.
She's a little goth. She just got used to this look after, however many months.
She got real big.
Actually, no, it's been well over a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been 2 years.
Like a year or something.
So got big into eyeliner too.
So, well, look, sometimes when you have a radical change in your hair color, you need to adjust your style to accompany it. Come on,
by becoming
that's how
goth.
it works. Anyway.
So, after the dinner is over comes the mingling part of this party, which means that all of you now have opportunities to meet with pretty much anyone you want, as the tables are cleared down and pulled to the sides. Hors d'oeuvres replace the meal portions you had earlier, and a small elven band begins playing on the platform that had previously hosted the captains.
Lily's gonna go to town on hors d'oeuvres.
You're specifically saving space from the meal just for that?
Oh no, there's space after the meal.
Goblins are 90% stomach.
I don't want to know what you did in order to make that room, but okay.
And
looks like directly in the eyes, just goes, "I didn't make room."
Oh, no.
Yeah. So at this point, basically any of you can meet with anyone else in this room that you find interesting. And but just before you make any suggestions, I did want to ask one question. Lily, did you bring your gun, and is it visible?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
In that case,
You can't exactly hide a gun that size on a goblin.
well, you can hide it in a portable hole sometimes.
No. This is about sending a message.
All right.
I mean, a lot of people would not know what it is, so I don't know if it's a very effective message to send.
Actually, in Spelljammer, they probably do.
Well, I meant in general, but yeah, fair.
Actually, with that in mind, Captain Rorst is going to wander over to the hors d'oeuvre table next to Lily, look over at her, and say, "That's some boomstick you've got there. Mind if I have a look?"
I mean...
I'll give it back. We have
Okay.
our own.
Okay, yeah, no, go ahead. Look, it's very nice, honestly.
Oh, I'll say. Rifled interior. Very nice. Oh, now what's this? That's quite interesting. Is there supposed to be a flint on the hammer here?
No.
Really? Then how do you get the initial spark?
Very carefully.
All right.
Look, I can't give away all my secrets.
Where did you get this, if I can ask that?
If you believe me, over on Mynth.
Really? Maybe this sphere isn't as backwards as I thought.
It's the weird luxury of being a continent without magic.
Really?
Yeah, apparently that exists for some reason. I'm still not 100% sure on it.
Well,
Hurt.
Sounds like a nice place to train. They have to bring some boys there someday.
Yeah, it's just they're very not good at handling magic threats.
They also don't believe in Well, no, they do believe in vampires, don't
Just
they?
different kinds of vampires.
Just a different kind of
Yeah.
vampire
Yeah, they believe in the vampires that exist on their continent.
that
They
aren't
don't-
magic, I guess.
Yeah, they don't believe in vampires that exist on other continents and only came to theirs for a very specific reason once.
They also don't believe in magic for the most part.
No, they do,
Yeah.
just different.
Well, okay, that's true.
They just aren't quite sure how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes two of us.
They also believe in magic that isn't real. But anyway,
Yeah, they blame the spirits for ED.
God, we can do such cool magic now. We would really blow their minds. All right.
But yeah, no, it was a gift.
All right. Well, here you go. He does hand it back to you.
Um. Oh,
Time.
okay, I'm back. Back. Well,
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
All right, but Rorsch continues by saying, "You're on that Aurelius ship, yeah?
Yeah, somehow.
Hmm. Nice to see a goblinoid and a elf, half-elf, actually working together.
Yeah, I mean, she pays the bills.
Half the
really.
Latrin.
And
Please
she's not
correct
even.
him.
It's. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, buddy. She's not even a real elf.
Well, if the elves
Some-
around here caught on to what she was doing, a lot of them might say the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Wait, what?
some weird special elf. I don't understand. It's.
Wait, what is he referring to?
Well, simply by employing one of the enemy, you know. The rivalry between elves and goblinoids, ourselves included, runs quite deep out in space, along with more than a few of the planets. Grumsh and Corellin Larathan are
Look,
some
I'm
of the
just happy
biggest
to see.
enemies of the panspheric pantheon.
Sounds all real stupid.
Yes, that's why we abandoned Grumsh.
Look, I'm just also glad to see someone else who isn't human or elf or whatever. It's nice seeing an orc up here.
Indeed. Or whatever the hell that lich is.
I have feelings about undead. Never met an undead I like.
That tends to happen.
Yeah, there's a reason we've killed a lot of vampires, actually.
Have you?
Two.
Only two,
Killed-
right?
Yeah, there were two, but they were very powerful. Technically speaking, three.
Who was the third?
That one, the lady
The
whose
Panangala.
head tore. Yeah, the Penangalan, whose head tore out of her body. Remember?
Okay, but who was two then?
Regardless, I just like.
Okay, I only remember her and that one guy who was an asshole.
We
Who was
didn't
the
kill
third vampire?
We didn't kill the third vampire. He tried hypnotizing you, and then you just
Yeah.
walked off.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. I
He
just
just
fucking
left him
left.
there.
You just
Yeah.
left.
That's right.
We didn't kill
Oh, that's
him.
right. That's right. I didn't kill one of those vampires. She just looks at him. I didn't kill the vampire. That's right. I left him waiting. It was the funniest shit you'll ever
I
see.
wonder how long he waited there.
It's great too because we talked to his girlfriend after I stole all her shit too.
I don't think she was his girlfriend.
That's what Lily assumes to be.
That's how Lily is telling the story, regardless of the.
I know. Aurelia's not there. This is my commentary.
Yeah, fucking stupid vampire thought he could charm me.
All right, and so we move away from Lily telling war stories to Captain Rorst. What's everyone else doing?
Catching up with our friends.
Yeah, I would like to do that also, but I mean, I'll let Kalen go first. I guess.
Couldn't you both be there?
Yeah, you guys can both.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure Kalen got to do his thing because
Yeah, the gallant gladiators have already just sort of clicked up and I mean that like high school clique. They all just sort of hang around together. The rest of their crew was in separate groups, but those four just in one with each other.
I just immediately walk over and I'm gonna be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Oh hey,
hello.
Welcome to space, I guess.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, after that whole thing with the worms, we just sort of decided, maybe we should go beyond the planet, see what else is out there. And, well, it wasn't easy getting past the elves, but yeah, we did it. Arsenal's out there in a certain place waiting for our return.
Yeah, we marched across all around the outer planes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For like a year.
Dang. Well, we saw a lot of the planets in that time.
Go to one... Real Torah? I don't... Like, this is me, Colin, not remembering what fucking Forgotten Realms...
it's in character. It's good.
No, because Lake is good with names. I am not.
Toril.
Toril. You go to a place called Toril?
No, we haven't really gone much out of Mynth space yet. I mean, we are planning on going even further out, but well, then this whole race thing just sort of landed in our laps, and Chet here, she points to the gnome alchemist who's normally quiet and who just sort of nods at the mention.
Yeah.
He's in a kind of a bit of a trouble, and so this race happening right now, it's a really good coincidence for us,
Why is that?
Well, figuring out what his problem is, well, it's going to require getting an answer to a very particular question. By the sound of things, Lady Solara will be able to tell us.
What's the question?
It's not for me to divulge.
Where did I leave my keys?
Chet looks up at you and shrugs.
I've heard him talk before. I'm like the only one.
No, you talked through magic before.
Yes, you've never heard him talk in person.
That's true.
The difference.
All right. Well, I mean that's cool. We're kind of trying to answer a question that'll let us save the entire universe from being destroyed, but I mean that's also fine.
Dang, like, what kind of question is that? Or can you tell it?
It's sort of well, I mean, yeah, sure. The question doesn't really need to be a secret. We're trying to. I think the question we decided to ask was
why there's a bunch of
why there are. I mean, basically, why does convergent evolution exist? Yeah. Except not that because we live in a fantasy world, but however you would say that in fantasy world. And then we're going to trade that information to a Prince of Hell in exchange for...
Oh, Hell's a different place.
Oh, whatever.
Don't whatever me. We spent a year marching
we're
around
gonna
that
do
area.
Demon Prince or Demon Prince? Demon Prince?
Demon
Demon Prince.
Yes, the demon princes are princes of the abyss, and hell
Yes.
is a different place.
Yes.
Thank you.
Demon Prince, we're going to trade it to him in exchange for information about how to get to the lowest level of the abyss, where we will meet someone who will help us on our quest to save the entire universe and all of existence.
Well, actually, maybe we could help with that. I mean, it's Chet's question is actually pretty specific too. Like, if we win, maybe we could share it with you, and you could share it with the demon prince. That would work.
Sort of, kind of agreed to let we've got a guy who's helping us. We kind of already.
Well, I mean, we promised him that if we won, we would ask his question.
True. We did promise him one.
Huh.
So.
I mean, also, we could just be assholes and betray him, but...
But also, like, I'd much rather.
That'd be really out of character.
I'd rather throw the game on purpose, so that way we both help out our friends and also technically live up to our word, than just completely betray a guy who just met. Which, again, yes, for the two of us, would be wildly out of character. Not so much.
I mean, technically, well, yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't want to break her word, but at the same time, if we agreed to this now and told Perry or whatever we had to renege on the deal, I mean, it's been a couple days, like, I'm sure he would be annoyed, but it's not like we'd be carting him around for months and then betraying him, you know? I don't think that would be, like, I certainly don't feel like that would be out of character for Aurelia to do. She'd feel bad about it, but I mean, whatever, we slightly inconvenienced him.
Well, you know what? How about this? Chet's question, it doesn't have to be answered immediately. It's kind of a backstory thing.
Okay. I know how that is.
And so if we don't get this in, then we'll try again in 6 months. Maybe we'll have better luck then.
Maybe 6 years.
Maybe we'll have better luck then.
Okay.
And
That's fair.
so let's just agree to go easy on each other. And
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest that.
Yeah. Like, we don't. Like, you stay out of our way, we'll stay out of yours. That sounds fair.
Yeah. And if we see each other in trouble with one of the other captains, maybe we can help each other out.
Sounds good.
But not necessarily pool our flags together.
Right.
Right.
Basically,
Well,
if one of us wins,
Maybe
both of us
if it
win.
comes down to it at the end, you know, we could consider it if it's the only way to win.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. We should. Well, I mean, in that spirit, I am curious. Which way are you guys planning to go first?
Well,
Would you be willing to share in exchange for our sharing, obviously?
oh sure. Actually, we're planning on going in a lot of directions at once.
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
you're splitting up.
Well, the Storall field in particular is going to take a lot of effort to search, so we do have a bunch of magic users on our ship. It's not just us gladiators anymore. And so a lot of them are going to take out some of the little vessels that we've got along with the big ship. And so yeah, we're going to start searching in multiple directions at once. Big ship's going to stay in the inner sphere as support and searching the inner planets. And once we've cleaned up all the flags we need, we'll head out to the outer planets, figure something out, and then back to Mynth. How about you? I remember you got 2 ships these days.
Yeah, we only entered.
Well, aren't you going to use the other ship to run interference or back you guys up or something? We got the arsenal off the planet without the elves the wiser.
How did you manage that?
Oh, it was actually pretty simple. See, the elves, they mostly stay concerned with the northern hemisphere, since that's where the surface elves they talk with live.
Huh.
So we took our arsenal to the South Pole and went straight down away from the plane of the ecliptic.
Mm.
And then we just sort of rounded towards one of the inner planets. Then we started exploring. We just
It's like the
Can't take
opposite of landing on the
can't take the main ship. Yeah, we just can't take the main ship anywhere too close to Mynth. And aside from that, we've got the run of the place. Space is big, and the elves only have a station here on Mynth and a couple of asteroids in the Storal Belt.
All right.
Ah.
Well, in that case, maybe we can use the second ship. I mean, it's not too late. We can teleport back and get it pretty quickly. We don't have a teleportation circle on the second ship, but if we were to take an object from the ship, and Aurelia were to carry it around with her, she could have perfect teleportation to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we could then basically use both ships. I don't know how we would want to split up the crew, though, just because...
Well, my plan of Cry Monkey, I probably wouldn't on ship with the less amount of crew on.
Yeah,
the
well,
Man of
hey.
War is my baby.
I will say that Harvey is capable of piloting the Man of War and of using scrying to keep track of you guys, along with sending to send messages back and forth.
Okay. Yeah, so
All right.
So you
So
can
Harvey, the Man of War.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we could use him as like a sort of scout thing. I mean, in terms of running interference, I don't know if we want to be trying to offensively like mess with other people that much, and we certainly wouldn't want to send Harvey to do that alone or whatever.
Right.
It
So
would be like coming up with missions for a secondary ship in a video game.
yeah,
Like the party will be on one ship, and you can assign missions to the other one based on what you want done at the time.
yeah, fair. I'm just thinking like he could do stuff like sort of scout if he has appropriate spells. He could try to scout out like flags in advance or something like that.
As a wizard, he can always get the spells he needs
Right.
to do that sort of thing.
All right then. Well, let's try to get that going. We should be able to do that in the couple of days after the race starts, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Get that started. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that. I guess we'll tell them what our plan is, to be fair.
All right. They'll just say that if they see an elven man of war acting a little weird, they'll remember to ignore it.
Fair enough, thank you. Okay, now what else? Who do else? Okay, I mean, I kind of want to talk to the tiefling lady. I want to know what her deal is.
Yeah, same.
She seems cool.
All right. Does Lily want to get in on this?
Get on what?
Talking to the tiefling.
Oh, hell yeah. Fucking why not? Seems more interesting than half the people in this fucking room.
Mm-hmm.
And like how
And
we're
her-
gonna talk to the lich.
While still stuffing her face with hors d'oeuvres, I should say.
Just grab a plate and wander off with it.
Exactly.
You just
And
have all of the pigs in a blanket, and everybody's very mad at you.
well, you
30
can-
to 50 feral hogs in a blanket.
How will I protect my family?
Well, she has a fairly motley crew. All sorts of unusual races and backgrounds. They dress in essentially whatever they find or whatever they think looks interesting, because none of it follows any sort of pattern or uniform. And they appear to include orcs and goblinoids, gnolls, humans, a few elves, and associated anthropomorphic races.
Fair enough.
And when you come and meet her, she's got a big mug of ale in her hand, and she's pumping up her crew. Somehow there's a keg. She's got one leg up on it. Not sure where she got that.
God, she's like a walking stereotype. It's great.
I love it.
She looks over at you and says, "Aye, now here's some competition."
God, you even sound like one too.
What say ye, strangers? Are you fitting for a proper race?
Is that accent fake or is it real?
Always.
Yeah.
The
How
name
hard are you
is
trying to sound like a pirate?
Aurelia. Aurelia de Zaffarani di Viana, Prince of Viana.
You need to stop doing that.
We got a fancy one here, folks.
Yeah,
You're
ignore
so
her.
over the top. Are you for real? I need to know.
You're her too.
I'm for real. As real as that plate of munchables you got there in your green little hands.
You want some? They're pretty good.
Nay, I'm full up on adventure.
You, God.
Seriously,
please.
I'll have one.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just slowly offers up the plate.
Adventure be quite filling to the spirit. These hors d'oeuvres be good filling to the belly.
Please, you're killing me.
Do you have to practice that laugh, or it just come naturally?
Oh no, the laugh is the chorus of cheers coming from her crew.
Oh, I see. She's not laughing constantly at her own jokes. Okay, well that makes her cooler, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder if her mom fights. If she fights like a cow.
No. Out here in space, they all have to follow a 757 syllable.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
And they always have to rhyme.
No, that's on the seas, Bobbin.
Yeah, that's on sea.
Oh yeah.
Space, they have to be haikus.
Please, it's actually all iambic pentameter.
No, yeah, that sounds more like space to me.
So what brings a fancy lady like yourself to a diabolical race like this one?
Well,
Got some burning question that can only be answered by one of them near gods or whatnot.
Perhaps, but as you said, surely adventure is reason enough.
Aye, it is. But adventure you can have anywhere. It's the prize at the end that makes you have to pick and choose which ones you go on. As for me, my question is simple. Where's the biggest unguarded treasure in the known spheres?
That's
Hey,
pretty
lads.
basic. It's
It'll be really
basic.
disappointing if she wins and finds out the answer is friendship.
The
Just
real
goes on
treasure
your
is-
boat.
The
It's
real,
the friends you made along the way.
the real treasure was inside you the whole time.
Look,
Hey,
why would you? Okay, but if you love adventure, why would you want unguarded treasure?
He gives you a curious look.
Loving adventure doesn't mean you can't also love money.
Look, I love money, but there's something to be said for the journey.
Aye, and we're going on a journey.
I'm
Going
just
on
saying,
this race.
unguarded treasure, though, is just... Where's the fun?
The fun is in the race, young one.
Buddy, I'm a thief by trade. It's what I do. It's my job. It's my life's calling. And just waltzing in there and finding it is so boring.
Ah, you're a lady after me own heart.
Thank you.
You guys are both very strange.
I don't know. It seems pretty
Look,
normal.
where's
to me.
the fun of an adventure without adversity?
Why find money when you can simply be born into it?
But the unguarded treasure's going to be the value that comes after this adventure.
I
See,
guess.
You're thinking of it of two different adventures, one after another, but they're just one adventure, and the prize for this adventure that we're going on now is going to be getting the money that's unguarded later.
Okay, I guess.
I get it. I follow.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to me from the beginning.
And then we're going to spend it all on booze and whores.
That
You know
I
what?
also get and follow.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's-
I mean,
Har, 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 har.
never really understood the point of whores when you can just seduce people, but okay.
Oh, we ain't all born with the shining good looks of an elf, dearie.
She's not even a real elf.
Technically
Alright.
not an elf.
There ain't too many gigolos that go in for horns.
Really?
It's because they're cowards.
Aurelia is genuinely surprised at this.
It's because they're fucking cowards.
Yeah, that sounds like a coward's gambit.
Aye. But if you pay them well enough, they're willing to turn a blind eye. And then I give them the ride of their lives. Ain't that right, boys? Har, har, har.
I like you.
Aurelia just didn't realize there was this kind of romantic discrimination in the world. I always thought horns were kind of sexy.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I'm also getting married to a snake lady, so.
I mean, yeah.
And at this point, Silky shows up and tells you about the great hors d'oeuvres on the other side of the room.
Okay.
All of the hors d'oeuvres are great.
Yeah, I mean, she has a point, Silky. But sure, I'll come see the hors d'oeuvres with you.
Only see them, though.
What are
Look,
you
don't
doing?
eat.
We're going to see. You're going to see just how jealous I am tonight.
Lily retches a little bit.
Wait, in a good way, right? Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah,
What?
you cut out.
She leaves it at that.
Okay. I think it's in a good way. Aurelia's gonna be thinking about this for a while.
Just Aurelia, she's walking away, turns around and says, I think it's in a good way, guys.
No. Aurelia is not so gauche as to do that.
Look, Lily's just having fun with this walking, talking stereotype.
And actually, you could roll insight if you wanted to
I think I will.
get a sense of just how much of this is an act and how much of this is genuine.
I will. I need to know. But even if I knew, I wouldn't say anything. Damn, fuck me.
Wait, hold on.
I
Grenache is
assume
technically
Aurelia
there. Grenache
time.
is technically there.
Grenache is there. Grenache, tell me your secrets.
I mean, 16 isn't bad.
Yeah,
16 is
but,
pretty good.
Grenache.
But also
the
Grenache.
lowest Grenache can get is a 12. So.
Fair.
All right. Well, Grenache, at the very least, notices when she breaks character to describe the way an adventure should work, that she isn't necessarily as uncultured as her crew.
Ah. I see how this is. I really can respect that. Sometimes
fake it till you make it.
you've gotta lower yourself to the level of yeah, okay.
But at the very least, she seems to be showing genuine joy and affection for her crew when she turns to them for a cheer.
Yeah.
All right.
Lake's gonna be like, I like you, but no offense. No, again. I like you, and I really hope you give us a good run for him.
I sure hope that you make things interesting for us, but don't expect us to hold back none.
Oh, I was not expecting that in the.
Look, if you survive, I hope we can remain friends.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we'll share drinks now. We'll share cannons later. And if all ends well, we'll have a drink here when all is done.
Sounds fun. Sounds great. Let's do
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a treat. You and your crew are lovely. You just don't need to put on so much of an act, is all I'm saying.
You don't know that.
Yeah, you
rolled the worst out of all of us, I think.
You bought
No, but Lily still thinks it's a fucking weird stereotype.
As far as you can tell, it's genuine, though.
No, it's not about being correct in this case. It's Lily is just like, it's too much.
All right.
Well, she'll give you a wink before turning around again.
Do we have oh wait, did we get a name from her?
I don't think we ever asked.
I don't think we did.
Okay. Well, Aurelia already left, so.
I be Corindra. Some say the devil's daughter.
Yeah, okay.
Which
Corindra.
double?
I haven't a clue.
Fair.
It's fair.
Look, just call me Lily. It's fine.
Yeah, my name's Lake.
Some call me Long Ear, she says, poking at her half-missing ear. But they're assholes. Just turns to leave.
All right. That's that for Corindra.
The nickname that barely ever comes up.
Yeah, I mean, you left the guys who called you that behind long ago.
Yeah, and,
Exactly.
And Lake knows you don't like it, so they don't call you that.
All right. Did you want to get any more information on the others, even if you didn't necessarily want to meet the captains?
Some awful part of me wants to meet the Lich.
I'm not doing that one. You're on your own with that one.
All right.
Okay.
I will say that the Lich is just sort of silently standing at one edge of the party, arms crossed, staring at the rest of it, like basically full-on wallflower mode.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lily's
poor
just
guy.
gonna waltz on up to the Lich and just offer up the plate of hors d'oeuvres and like, you want any?
Like, that's a little rude.
I have no longer any need to eat to sustain my existence.
You can't do it for fun?
It is not a form of fun that I require any longer.
He just pops one into his mouth and it falls through his jaw and then like rattles down his rib cage.
Man, it's gotta suck not being able to enjoy the pleasures of the flesh.
My pleasures are found far beyond this simple plane of flesh and matter. My time is spent ranging far through the astral, the plane of mind, seeking the secrets lost to all except those brave enough to dare the depths that lie beyond existence, sanity, and life.
Sounds like
Cool story,
someone's
bro.
a fan of Vecna.
Look, all I'm saying is it don't fill your stomach and it don't get your dick wet. Sounds boring to me.
He probably doesn't have one anymore.
He probably doesn't.
That rotted off about 3 centuries. Oh.
Look, I'm just saying, like, it's great and all that you're plumbing the secrets of the universe. That's super cool. But for what purpose? What is your end goal?
Knowledge, power, the plans I laid centuries ago coming to their full fruition.
But why? What's the benefit if you can't enjoy it?
Bobbin, you did clearly describe 2 glowing eye things, right?
Yes, he is
Okay.
a proper lich, which means that he has glowing red dots where his eyes should be.
Okay, I was making sure that it was 2 glowing red dots.
Oh, no.
Look, all I'm saying is I feel like you're just doing this for the sake of doing this at this point.
I'm doing this for the sake of plans I laid back when I was but a child. Still
So-
an infant of the flesh.
So
Still
this is some real
ignorant.
sunk cost shit I'm hearing.
So you're still trying to like follow
You're
through
still
on your
going.
childhood dream. Now
You're
that
still
you
going because you're too afraid that failure would mean that you've wasted your unlife. That's what it sounds like to me.
getting real James Cameron vibes here.
My plans required a significant investment of time, power, and energy, and my ascendance to lichdom required that I do so. My
I
plan
guess.
is not yet complete, but soon, and with the assistance of Lady Solara, it will be coming to fruition within a bare few centuries more.
And then what?
Then I shall rule all that I survey.
But for what purpose? What's the point of ruling if you can't enjoy it?
I mean, he can. He clearly said that's what gives him pleasure. So I don't know why you keep asking this.
Your mind is lost in the pleasures of the flesh, a carnality which I discarded even before I discarded my flesh.
I'm just saying, you're missing out, buddy. And I mean, like, I wish you the best. I'll be dead before I even give a shit about your plans, but I'm perfectly happy being
Why are
fleshy
you wasting time talking to this guy?
because it's fun.
Stand in my path, and I shall cut you down as I have the thousands of others who preceded you.
Okay. I mean, you do you, buddy. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't understand your whole. I've met a lich who did enjoy living his life. He was a wonderful He is a wonderful person.
Then he is a fool.
I mean, maybe you're the fool for getting too caught up in your schemes, too afraid to fail because we failed.
Please
What
stop
would you-
giving an after-school special to the lit.
No, keep doing it. I'm enjoying every second of it.
Well, as you keep going, the lich's eyes just sort of fade a couple of shades, And you get the sense that he's sort of checked out and maybe gone to that astral plane he was talking about, instead of allowing you to waste his time anymore.
How vacant is he? This is very important to me as a person.
You get the feeling that if you touch him in any way, he will snap back and then do something to you that you will regret.
Okay, then I will not shove an hors d'oeuvre in his mouth.
Just like 2 pigs in a blankets where his eye glowies are.
Lily polishes off her plate and walks away.
Do we have time to speak to the final captain?
Sure.
All right, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, we sort of already know about these Imperial Elven Navy types, but I'm just curious about the one in particular. Who's in charge?
Or who is not necessarily in charge, but
well, in charge of the crew for the race. Yeah, obviously not
right,
in charge of
the racer.
The captain for the race.
All right. Well, I sees you approach and sorry. Lich
No, that's the
voice is
captain
hard on the
actually.
throat.
It's actually the captain seeing Aurelia.
It's just the Lich voice is a little hard on the throat.
Yeah.
I had fun with it at least.
Yeah.
I know how having villains do our murder on your throat can be.
And I also like including at least one contestant who is absolutely by no means a good person or a mixed bag.
I am really hoping that we just destroy him and his phylactery and like fucking all that shit he just said to us was for nothing.
I mean, I just want to win the race. I don't really care about him.
I mean, Blake just wants to win the race. I, Colin, am kind of hoping.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I want to crush his ego, but because it would be funny.
Yeah, Lily might be a bad person. All right. So this guy, the elf guy.
Yes.
I'm gonna go find him.
Has the typically elven slender build, looks rather handsome even by elven standards. He certainly wears the uniform well. And when he sees you come up, he gives you a short bow and says, Captain Emanuela Macraela, at your service.
Aurelia de Zafrani di Viana, Prince of Viana, at your service.
Aye, I've been hearing about you. Not just about the race either. You have a bit of a reputation among the, a certain group of former slaves. Made a good home for themselves out in the sphere.
Ah. Well, glad to hear it.
Aye. Many of them settled back down in one or another, but decided to join the Imperial Navy.
Really? Well, better than being a slave, I'm sure.
Aye. But, and you can say that about pretty much anything.
True.
So, you likely saw my ship while you were coming in. It's the good ship Venturus. Venturus. It's the one with the blue wings.
Ah. Yes. I don't remember exactly, but I'm sure that we saw it, right? Yeah.
You saw 2 man-of-wars docked on the station. And yes, one of them had blue wings.
Yes.
The other one was green.
I believe I did. And I am a little curious. I know that the Elven Imperial Navy generally enters racer. Why is it that you are the one representing them on this occasion?
Well, I was the lucky sod who was next one up. And I'd expected I would need another 6 years to get my shot. So I'm right pleased to get it so early.
And with a little less competition than usual, I've heard.
I'm particularly pleased that the Scroll won't be making their usual appearance. Some years it's been a full-on recreation of the war.
Is that right?
Well, the questions that we ask Lady Solara often have some very...
What the fuck?
That was my cat.
Someone's cat wants attention.
I'd say mine's passed out of my bed in another room.
Somewhere in the house, I don't know where.
Well, at least Daisy is the only one who visited me tonight. The other two are fucking who knows where. Ollie's probably still on the mat in front of the bathroom, passed out. And then Lily's probably painting some desk chair white with her fucking fur.
Anyway, so as he was saying, the questions that you can ask Lady Solara often have very strategic uses. And back during the war, of course, the Scroll weren't allowed into the sphere at all. But at that time, we had bad luck, and the one question we got to ask before the war ended, went to some raiders just happened to be flying through at the time.
Huh. How long ago was this?
Oh, not too long ago. Around 50 years or so. Not that you'd have noticed on Mynth.
No. Well, also, I wasn't alive.
Hey, and you're deep in Elven territory here. Well, the Scroll of course, old territory was Elven territory back in the day. But the Scroll managed to hold on to some of the spheres around the edges of known space. And so in many ways, the elves lost the last war. The Scroll is still around at all. It means we lost.
That's a slightly genocidal way of putting it.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's
so
still
I'm curious then. If you win, then the question asked by the question that you ask will be determined by someone higher up in the Navy, or
I know what question I'll need to ask once I win.
oh yeah.
And you'll forgive me for not sharing it, since the implications of the question might tip our hands a bit much.
Yes, I guessed as much, to be honest. Well, good luck to you then. Although I'm sure you won't be relying on luck.
Hey,
with the resources of the Imperial Navy behind you.
The less left to luck, the better. I imagine that's the same for you.
Oh no, I always rely on luck. It's much more reliable than anything else.
Well, I might suggest you get out of that bad habit of yours. Elsewise, it'll inevitably get you into trouble.
Oh, it gets me into trouble all the time, but it gets me out of trouble just as easily. So, I think I'll keep on it for now.
He shrugs. No loss for him.
Indeed. All right. I don't think I have anything more to say to him, so I'm eager to hear the official rules and get started.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I don't know. I assume the official rules are going to be explained by the Mercane or whatever, but...
Yes.
Okay.
After a good hour or so passes for all of the captains and crews to mingle, the music stops. The Mercane steps up on the raised platform, holds up his hands for attention and silence, and once he has it, he lowers them, just sort of crosses his hands under his robe, under the sleeves of his robe, and says loudly, clearly, and steadily, "This surprise race, this surprise edition of the Solaran race now commences. As I understand, we have several new contestants this time. I shall explain the rules. They are that we, the Mercane, in charge of this race, have placed one flag for each contestant within each major orbit of this sphere. The flags are not necessarily on the main planet or orbiting body. These flags are also irreproducible and cannot be taken or moved except by hand. Neither can they be destroyed. The ships that have docked or are in close proximity to this station are the only ships that are allowed to return here with one of each flag. The first vessel to do so successfully will be allowed to ask the Lady Solara one question of their choice, with the assurance that the lady will attempt to answer it as completely as possible. The race begins once all crews and captains are safely aboard their vessels, and their vessels are safely 1 mile away from this station. Until then, you are not allowed to interfere or sabotage each other's crews or vessels. Afterwards, what happens to your ships and crews is entirely up to you. Have you any questions? Very well. Then take this, the first flag, and he reaches behind him in a spot that you could have sworn was unoccupied before, but now there's this little basket that's full of flags, pennant flags, the triangular type. And there are 6 of them, one for each ship. They are colored blue, and on the blue field is what you recognize as being the symbol of Mynth itself. That being a pair of leaves.
Fair enough.
The flags shall be unmistakable, not only for the magic they exude, but for the symbol and color which is unique for each orb. Take your flags. This is your last chance to back out. and none of the other captains back out.
All right, I'll go get the flag.
All right, you take the last flag for yourself, and the rod that the flag is on is about 4 feet tall. So it's a proper flag, something that you could stab into the ground and expect to stand up.
Fair enough. Don't know why you would want to, but I guess maybe that's how they're
Because you
positioned on the planets themselves or wherever they are.
Yeah, because maybe someone plants those flags in that sort of way, and that's how you'll find them.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, well, let's go then, I guess.
All right. Corindra and her crew excitedly run off to their ship first, but since the race doesn't start until all of the ships have left the dock, most of the others are taking their time, gathering everybody together, giving their crews one last speech.
Ooh,
There's a certain earnestness to Corindra's crew.
I want to give a speech. I want to give a speech.
No.
You guys don't have to listen. The crew needs an inspirational speech, though, okay? That's just how it works.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they?
They really fucking do.
Actually, I'm kind of inspired at that point.
Yeah, actually, why not? Let's do it. Everybody gets inspiration.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, does Aurelia get inspired by her own speech?
I think with a natural
20,
20.
yeah.
Nice, okay.
You tap into a place you didn't even know you had.
Congrats, you managed to sell yourself on it.
Wow.
I will mark inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I fucked up. I forgot I hadn't updated my sheet to my new level. That's actually a 38.
Oh, God!
Yeah, I keep telling you to update your D20 or roll 20 sheet.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. Well, yeah, really gives a stirring speech that touches on a lot of things, but somehow weaves them all together in a coherent way. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of just the
Brings it
thrill
all
of
back
adventure, the necessity of saving the entire universe, the national pride of Viana, you know, a bunch of different things.
Like, kind of checks out on everything else.
Well, there are some sailors in the crew that are actively from Viana, so that was pandering specifically to them.
Yeah.
It's about knowing your audience.
And this speech had a little something for everybody. Anyway, so you do in fact make it back to your ship, and thanks to the enforced truce of the competition rules, you are allowed to leave the dock and move about a mile, which in space isn't really that far, away from the station before you set your navigation. And so at this point, I will need to ask you, which planet are you going to visit first?
The planet.
I think we should go to Pelth first. That is
Sounds
my
fine by me.
feeling.
Yeah.
Although on the way there, we could scry a little bit in like the part of the Storal asteroid belt
it's gonna
that's
take
near
It's
us.
going to take us a couple of days anyway, and
I think it's more than a couple days.
Well, like I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
like I said, I can scry basically unlimited time. per day, so it's fine. I can find out where literally every flag is.
Yeah, from Mynth to Pelth is about 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's at this point, as Aurelia is staring down at the sphere map and contemplating how far they're able to move and how much air it's going to take to get there, because you've never really experienced it yourself yet, but you've been informed by both Berlosa and by Perry, the Loxodon, that if your ship runs out of air while you're deep in space, you're done.
Well, we're not done. We could teleport, but
Yeah, but the ship is done,
yeah.
and teleporting out is not going to save it. Teleporting back in is not going to save it. It's going to kill you.
True.
I mean-
Well, unless we can develop spacesuits.
Or we just get Harvey, who does not need to breathe. Pilot it.
Oh, that is true. That's a fair point.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't even run it that far. You ever think of that?
But yes, I mean, obviously that would be better avoided.
Yes.
So, what?
And as you're being informed about this, you realize something. In that funny way that you realize things that Lord Onos wants you to know.
Oh, yeah.
That the air that is constantly blowing past you is coming from somewhere that is outside of the ship.
What the fuck?
Wait, really?
Which means that your ship, out of all of the other vessels here,
It's the infinite
does
air.
not
What the
have
fuck?
to worry about bad air.
The fuck?
Huh. Okay. I guess that could be a pretty significant advantage, in theory.
Well,
The
you made,
actual
you
fuck.
made a pact with the god of the sky.
Yeah.
We are
And you are
currently
bearing- you're
inside the
supposed-
sky.
No, you're beyond the sky, but you're bringing the sky with you because you have a powerful weapon that was the most powerful artifact ever created by his followers is on your waist. And so you have brought the sky with you.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm not clear on how much of I don't know how we use that to our advantage other than just as a thing we don't need to worry about. But
Well, between teleportation and never running out of air, you don't have to make any stopovers.
that's true.
You can just teleport any water and food supplies you need onto the ship, and being present on it for a certain amount of time will refresh the air automatically.
That's true. And also, as I mentioned before, it occurred to me that if we need to land anywhere, we could always send the ship ahead and then catch up by teleportation. And in fact, even go back to planets by teleportation, because once we've been there once, Aurelia can take a rock or something with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So I'm just going to say now that in case I don't mention it, that is a thing that Aurelia will do everywhere they go, just in case. And she will neatly label all of the rocks so that she knows where they're all from.
Aurelia's lovely rock collection.
Space rock collection.
Are you gonna fucking get them smooth too?
No. That might
Polish
interfere
them
with the
to a
magic.
mirror sheen? Nah, maybe.
No.
So,
All right.
you've decided that you're going to Pelth first. You are aware of the oxygen situation. Last thing I need from you guys is what do you do with the Man of War?
So I think it makes sense to have Harvey scout around somewhere, either in the Storal belt, like the asteroid belt, or possibly somewhere else. I mean,
Want him to scout?
well, I don't know. I mean, if you have another idea, that's
I
fine.
don't have any idea. I was just trying to.
Yeah, he could hunt for that fucking the asteroid or whatever.
True.
I mean, it's also possible we could try to get him to keep tabs on other bracers to some
And-
extent.
Whether you tell him to or not, he will grab a flag if he has the opportunity and he knows where it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fine.
Let's have him around Storal.
All right, get him to start scouting the asteroid belt, sort of following the adventurer's line of thinking with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get an early start on the hunt by having a secondary ship check it out.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right, then that's it for this session.
Cool.
Hooray!
Met the other racers, you've officially entered.
The game is afoot, as they say.
Indeed. And you have your first flag.
One down. 1,
6.
2, 3, 6 to go.
Yeah, Protodor, fortunately, does not count as its own orbit.
I hope not.
That would be fucked up.
I don't think there's enough protection from fire spells in the world to protect us from this.
Well, it is a magic sun, so the rules aren't exactly the same.
I mean, I still want to know if we could land a fire elemental there, would it have Earth-like gravity?
Well, I have mentioned already that there is an Afridi outpost on the sun.
Oh, there is? Oh, okay. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So we can ask them.